Please welcome from Lakeview Senior College in the senior section tonight, Ryan Martinovic.
Just quickly, how many of us all here have had a strange experience with the English language? From a weird pronunciation, from an odd spelling, to even a double meaning. It certainly is a strange language we speak. My name is Ryan Martinovic, and tonight I represent Lakeview Senior College, and I speak to you about why the English language is a strange language indeed. First, I think it is essential to establish that the English you and I speak isn't actually English. We speak a dialect, a sub-language, if you would, of the English called Australian English. It diverged around when the First Fleet arrived in Australia, and as such colonisation occurred, and Australia became recognised. But it is separate from English, as we have our own slang, our own slight differences in pronunciation. And while, yes, we might be able to understand English and American English and Canadian English, those last two being two of the most prevalent other dialects, it truly is a slightly different language we speak. In fact, the language that it diverged from, modern English, was only established 600 years ago. There's an analogy of if you were to spread your arms and say it was the scale of the length of the universe, the length of humanity would be like the tip of your fingernail. And 600 years is but a fraction of those several billion years. So, what's up with that? Well, if you were to go back in time 600 years ago, sure, you might be able to understand the spoken language, as some words have retained over time, but the written form would be so inconceivably different, you wouldn't be able to read it. And also, that speech that I mentioned you'd be able to understand, it'd be like listening to someone speak through an extremely thick accent. And in 1450, this was the year it was reformed into early modern English. And the 18th century also marked the Reformation into true modern English. But now, that's enough quick history. What I'd like to cover now is grammatical rules. I'm sure every one of you has learned several rules, including I before E except after C. Who's heard that before? Okay, well, don't you find it weird that this rule holds so little weight in our spelling system? Doesn't it? Well, I'll leave that to your leisure to find out. Actually, no, I won't. You see, just there, I threw in 3 words that don't meet this rule. Weird, wait, and leisure. Why is it that such a rule that most of us are taught can just be chucked out? Is it just one thing that makes English strange, or is there something more going on? I probably won't ever know, but it's something to think about. Now, we come to one of my favourite things. Alternate pronunciations. Everyone's heard of the T-I-O-N suffix used in words like nation, station, but it doesn't make a T-I sound or a T sound. It makes a sh sound, S-H. That's weird, isn't it? This is actually the topic of a rather infamous letter from 1855, written between Charles Oliver and Leigh Hunt, an author and a poet respectively, where Oliver states, "My son William has discovered a new way to spell the word fish." Now, this seems weird, doesn't it? F-I-S-H, fish. How else could you spell it without compromising its pronunciation? F-E-E-S-H, that's fish. But what William goes on to describe, what Oliver goes on to describe, is that William said, since the GH in enough and tough makes an F sound, the O in women makes a short I sound, and as mentioned before, the TI in nation and station makes an SH sound. Shouldn't the word spelled G-H-O-T-I be pronounced fish? Now that's a bit strange, isn't it? There's no seeming connection beyond that. and truthfully, GHOTI is not an actual word, it's merely creative respelling. And for those of you wondering, it would be pronounced goatee, as in the beard type. But why is it that such things can occur? Strange, isn't it? English is also the most spoken language in the world, about 1.12 billion speakers as of 2022. This is entirely due to countries like the United States of America and the United Kingdom, the latter for being so prevalent in colonization, and the former for leading the trade market, the next closest being Chinese Mandarin. But what allowed these nations to have such a control over it that most people, or in the world, if you were to ask them, a good portion of them would likely know English? It is certainly a strange language we speak, and it is one that I'm sure most of you have come to love. And I hope tonight has given you a few things to think about. Thank you for your time.